Thank you for watching, liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing right now. Josh Stevens has joined us again from SolarWinds.com. Of course, you can find more information about SolarWinds at SolarWinds.com/LockerGnome. We have a few specials running there. And today, we wanted to talk about the top 5 networking tools that are free. Free, as in F-R-E-E, as in not going to cost you a thing. And we've talked about at least one of these before, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, absolutely. We have, Chris.
The real-time netflow analyzer.
We did. We talked about that one before, and it's a great free tool and one of the ones I'd like to talk about today for sure.
All right, so I love the title. It just sounds so incredibly geeky. But what is it going to help people do?
Well, the thing about NetFlow, and whether you're using NetFlow or the other protocols like SFlow and IPFix, is it allows network administrators and engineers to understand not only how much of their bandwidth is being used, but who's using that bandwidth and what they're doing with it, right? And so, normally in your network management infrastructure, it's pretty easy to see when the internet connection gets slow, but knowing why it's slow is really the thing that NetFlow gives you. And so that free tool, the real-time NetFlow analyzer, lets you actually monitor that traffic and see, who's using your bandwidth and what they're doing with it in real time, totally free. The other cool thing about that is, you've already paid for the NetFlow technology in your routers and switches, so that part's free as well. And now you're just having this tool from SolarWinds that allows you to see that from your desktop. So it's a really one of my favorite free tools for sure.
All right, and the next free tool is VM Monitor, and I am a huge fan of VMware. I mean, I certainly, well, I run it all the time. And I've run Windows inside of VMware,
Yeah,
Linux.
yeah.
I've run operating systems that I wouldn't necessarily run as my primary desktop, but still being
hmm
able to use them. Now, granted, virtual machines can be used for other applications, including they're used all over the enterprise.
Yeah, I mean, really the virtual server technology and VM technology has come a long way the last few years. And I don't know how I would get by, every day without it, to be honest, because as I'm testing software and rolling out new applications, it's just great to do it, really, really quickly to clone these VMs and restore them. It makes backup and recovery so much faster. And, a lot of companies now are leveraging virtual servers for their core application infrastructure. So a lot of what used to be thought of as a really expensive big physical server, they're running on a virtual server now because it's greener, it uses less power, there's less cooling requirements, it reduces your carbon footprint just significantly. But one of the problems with that is how do you keep an eye on these virtual servers from your desktop? How do you know if one of them has a problem? So the free tool, the SolarWinds VM Monitor, will actually give you a real quick dashboard. And so, a lot of server administrators out there, network administrators, really, really like the application. Of course, we're big VMware fans as well here on the dev team at SolarWinds, so we use it internally as well.
I had a little network snag there, but I think we've got the gist of what VM Monitor can do, the second free tool. Third one, Exchange Monitor. This is another one that we covered, the free tool.
It is. We did. We talked about this on a previous tech talk here. And the Exchange Monitor is fantastic. It's a free tool again to monitor the health and performance of an Exchange server. Almost everybody out there has at least one Exchange server in their organization, right? And so having a way to keep a really close eye on that as a system administrator is really important. It's also one of those applications that when one of your VM infrastructure servers go down, or maybe in a NetFlow situation, you as a network engineer may be one of the only ones that know about that problem. But if there's email problems in your company, then you can bet that your boss and your boss's boss, all the way up to the CEO, they're all going to know about it and be really upset. I mean, I don't think users get more passionate about anything in the company when there's problems than they do email, unless maybe it's internet access.
Right.
And so, the Exchange Monitor gives you that real quick, easy to use tool to provide a dashboard for health on the mail queue sizes, on the performance of CPU and memory, on that Exchange server. And again, it runs right there on your laptop or PC, totally free, installs in like 2 minutes. It's just a great application.
All right, the fourth one. Now, this is a surprise. You're giving away a TFTP server. I had to say
That's
it.
right.
I had to stop myself and made sure I said it the right way. The TFTP server. Why are you giving that away?
Well, I mean, TFTP is one of those core protocols that, as a network engineer, you really need to have. I mean, that's the way you upgrade the iOS on all of your routers and switches and firewalls. And for many users, that's the core technology underneath how they do configuration management. So, like in the engineer's tool set, there are tools that will leverage TFTP to push config changes back and forth to your routers and switches. And so, what's really cool about the TFTP server is it's a free application, like you mentioned. We found that it was one of those things that everybody needed, and it gives us a lot of awareness in the industry. It's our most popular download still today. It's been around a long time, and back in the old days when we were doing network engineering and consulting, we had trouble finding a high performance free TFTP server, and so that's kind of why we decided to go out and write one ourselves and make it available to the industry.
Well, I don't think you're going to hear many arguments. I mean, that's kind of I mean, not to say that the other tools are any less important, but the fact that you're giving away an actual TFTP server application, it's a surprise. It's a shock. Like I
Yeah,
said.
and a lot of other vendors, hardware vendors, are now promoting our free FTP server. So if you were to call Cisco, and you're talking to the tech and they're having a problem maybe with one of your routers, they'll most likely tell you go to solarwinds.com and download the TFTP server
Right.
and use that. So it's a great application. I use it every single day. And I hate to have to pay for something like that. So it's a great free tool.
Well, that's the thing is like, you're spending a lot of money on hardware. You want to have software that's going to work with it, that's going to be complementary, and you just don't want to add to your costs. I mean, it
Yeah,
does boil
absolutely.
down to your costs, the software and the hardware. And then the fifth one, the subnet calculator. Now, this was something that was recommended to me months ago when I was trying to configure my home network. Now, of course, the subnet calculators, would likely be used for more complex networks than my home network. I only have a handful of devices here.
Yeah, I mean, the advanced subnet calculator is a great free tool. Those of us that have been around a long time, sure, we can do subnetting and solder masking in our head and on a piece of scratch paper if it's really complex, but who wants to do that anymore? And, I found myself even this week working in the lab and I needed to do some quick subnetting and, at first I thought, well, I'll do it in my head, and then I scratched my head. I'm like, man, is that even right? Is that it? And grabbing that advanced subnet calculator is just an easy way to do it. It's free. It does both classful and classless or CIDR calculations. Great free application. And if you're out there doing, rolling out networks, doing addressing, there's no reason to try to memorize that stuff. Yeah, you should understand it, but use a calculator like the one from SolarWinds. It's a great application.
All right, so we got the real-time NetFlow analyzer, VM monitor, Exchange monitor, the TFTP server
Mhm.
that is being recommended by hardware vendors.
Absolutely,
That's
all over the
that's
place.
pretty impressive. And then the advanced subnet calculator. 5 free tools. SolarWinds.com/LockerGnome.
Sounds great, Chris. Thanks very much.
Well, no problem, Josh. I appreciate it. And by the way, I see you've still got the Hulk there in the background, like
Yeah,
the
the
little
Hulk and
Hulk guy.
Yoda kind of watch over me just in case there are ever problems in the office.
Well, it was great.
And
Oh,
it is kind of odd that my Yoda is bigger than my Hulk, but
eh,
that's just the way it goes.
I found I did something this week. Gave some toys to charity, and they have these like boxing gloves, Hulk boxing gloves, and when you hit things, they make sounds like "You don't want to see me when I'm angry." I don't know if and
Yeah,
you're
my
wearing.
hands don't fit in them very well, but they are a blast. I bought some
Oh,
for
you
my
have them.
nephew. Yeah, yeah,
That's great.
yeah,
Well, you're wearing
yeah. I love
green.
superheroes,
You,
so
you're wearing green today, so I don't want to upset you, and so I will not. I will not taunt the Josh Stevens from SolarWinds. So again, thanks for releasing these tools for free. Good for network administrators from around the world, as well as budding network admins and system
absolutely,
administrators. People who are looking to pursue a degree that is going to keep them from being laid off. Right, Josh?
absolutely.
Right. So my email address is chris@pirillo.com. Maybe you know of other free tools we can pass along to the rest of the community. Of course, my community, geeks.pirillo.com. And you've got a community too.
Absolutely, thwack.com. That's THWACK. And you can also get to that from solarwinds.com/geek. Our great community site, over 20,000 active members, growing every
Wow.
single day. Great place if you're new to network engineering, administration, or system administration, or if you're an experienced user or administrator. It's a great site to go out and share information with other administrators like yourself.
We're catching up on you. We've only got 11,000, but I'm just chugging. We're chugging along. We're just geeks. You're I maybe you I don't know. your community may be more intelligent than mine. Maybe that's a challenge. Ooh, we can figure out a challenge.
Maybe we're a subset of those geeks, I would say.
Yeah, you're a huge subset of that. But anyway, you can find me streaming my life online 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, in conjunction with this chat room, typically talking tech, at live.pirillo.com. We'll see you later.